All been talking about the government's decision not to fund free school meals in England during the school holidays.
Well, figures from earlier this year showed that in England alone, 1.3 million children were entitled to free school meals. After the effects of the coronavirus, that number could now be closer to 2 million.
Well, it's what footballer Marcus Rashford's campaign has been all about, and now the government is coming under increasing pressure to reverse a vote by MPs on Wednesday that means they won't fund them during half-term and Christmas holidays.
Well, there have been masses of calls from you, lots of your views, which we're going to get to those a little bit later on. Eamonn and Emma Kenny are going to speak to us in just a moment. Let's talk first of all, though, to 17-year-old pupil Anisha Rahman. And Anisha joins us now. Hi, Anisha.
Anisha.
Thank you for talking to us.
Hi.
So you've just started sixth form, got high hopes of becoming a paediatrician. And so just tell us about family life at the moment. How come your family, I know there's you've got your three siblings who are 14, 11 and 3. How come you need the food vouchers?
So we need the free school meal vouchers because unfortunately my parents don't work due to medical conditions. And so I really rely on that as a safety net, actually. It allows me to have one decent meal every day. And like other children in my situation, what it does is just make sure that we have that healthy, nutritious meal that actually allows us to, I guess, prosper and thrive, really.
And so how much worse has the situation got for you during this pandemic?
A lot more worse, actually, unfortunately. With the pandemic, what's happened is obviously this economic aftermath of the pandemic has really affected us significantly. What it's meant is that we've had to actually, virtually at some point, for example, we had no food at all. And I remember when the vouchers came in, it was like this lifesaver, really, that came in. And now, unfortunately, we're going back to that situation again, where we actually have to resort to maybe much more lower quality of food that isn't, even though it's technically supposed to be more affordable, it's just lower quality. And it's really bad, actually, because, in my family, there's a lot of complex health conditions. My youngest sister's type 1 diabetic, for example. So, for example, switching brands and going to much more lower quality food will significantly impact our health, make it actually our blood sugar go high or low in a really dangerous manner that can actually affect her body and organs.
So it's
quite a dark situation.
Yeah, it's bad enough at the best of times, and through the pandemic, it's been increasingly difficult. You're representing a great many people who are feeling exactly the same way. I was filming it at a school for How to Spend It, just around the corner from here, a little while ago, and they rely on people and also businesses coming to the school gates and dropping food off to help people through this difficult time. So, difficult at the best of times. What about school holidays? Because if you can't afford to feed your family as well as you would like, and the money's just not there because of circumstances, when you're actually in school, then I assume there is absolutely no difference during the school holidays.
No, and what's worse is that the government seem to think that food insecurity, this issue, is just something that is specific to school and not actually in the holidays, which is obviously completely wrong, because holiday hunger is truly real. It's something that affects so many families, not just mine, but the other 1.3 million children also on free school meal support, because that's just the thing about food insecurity. It's not something that just randomly popped out from COVID-19 or something that is just specific to school. It happens all the time. It's this long-standing existing issues that affects so many young people significantly, which is why actually I, along with many other young people at Fight Back 2030, are actively campaigning for free school meal support to be actually placed in the holidays. We want a permanent solution to the whole crisis, not something that is just this sort of chaotic confusion where it's like, we don't want to do it, but we have done it before. It's just...
And so
just
how
really
does it feel then? Because you have been campaigning for this, and how does it feel to get the weight of somebody like Marcus Rashford, who's a footballer, who people sort of go, wow, he's actually taking his time and attention to dedicate. He's had his own experience of growing up as a child, being hungry in the school holidays. How does it feel to have his support?
Amazing. I think I was so happy actually when he had the summer U-turn, actually making sure that we did have meals during lockdown and the summer holidays, because that was honestly a point where I really genuinely did have virtually at some point, like literally no food, until obviously that support came in. And having hit someone so relatable, someone who actually has experienced the issue, firsthand, and is so passionate about young people and making sure that they are entitled, to the food that they have deserved, actually making sure that they are, he's like that voice that represents us, which is just really important to have. And I think having a celebrity, a big influencer, being part of the campaign is just so amazing. And now I think what has to happen is, because I was honestly truly disappointed on Wednesday when, despite all of the emotional pleas that we've heard and how important free school meal support is for young people like me, and actually having such a big influence that actually head the campaign really as well. I was just so disappointed.
What about, you're a board member for the charity Bite Back. Explain what Bite Back is.
Yeah, so Bite Back 2030, it's a charity that actually aims to improve the food system for young people. So I'm a youth board member, which means I am one of the young people actively campaigning and pushing for a healthier and more inclusive food system that benefits us all. And at the moment, since March, we have all been campaigning for free school meal support to be placed in the holidays, because that provision will actually allow young people to have a decent meal at least every day, and will allow them to actually be able to have access to healthy and nutritious food, which is actually at the moment, which a lot of families do not have currently at the moment.
Well done,
Anisha, thank you. Lovely
very
to
much.
talk
Well,
to you.
since the decision to end funding, countless cafes, businesses, charities and community groups have pledged to donate food during half-term and over the Christmas holidays. One of those businesses is Lily's Cafe in Rotherham, and we can now talk to the cafe owner, Emma Stocks. Welcome, Emma. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us today. So what's Lily's Cafe doing? How have you got involved?
We are providing free lunches for all children, even if they don't qualify for free school meals.
And so this started, was it today that you started? What's the uptake been like?
Well, we've got 54 on order already. We're hoping for a hell of a lot more once people realise that there's no judgment and no embarrassment needed, and hopefully word of mouth gets out.
Well, I mean, times are tough for businesses, especially businesses like yours, those in the hospitality sector. Absolute nightmare at the moment. So you're doing this on top of the issues that you must be going through as a business.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's even more needed because some days we sat around doing nothing, so why not help out? We've always got stock in because we have to get it anyway, so it just seems daft to waste it when we can be using it.
And it's incredible, really, because, like you said, you're using stock there that you've got already, but also with the community around you have all pulled together, and from the most unsurprising of places.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. I just want to send a big thank you out to everybody, from cash donations to food that have been donated. People have donated the time, offered to send deliveries out for us if it's needed for people if they can't get out or haven't got a car. It's been absolutely fantastic, really overwhelming and emotional, I have to say.
I bet. Well, listen, you're going to have a busy day today. The phone's ringing already to put in another order. Emma, thank you. Good luck. Send our love to everybody there. And we said there were lots of views on this, including from our own This Morning family. And Eamonn is here. Good morning, Eamonn. Thanks for joining us this morning. Now, you've been on the Manchester United Foundation board for 12 years now, so I imagine the entire club, especially you, feel extremely proud of what Marcus Rashford is doing. But there is more work to do, clearly.
Oh my God, there's so much work to do. The foundation is the charitable arm of the club, and basically we're engaged in getting young people off the streets and giving them a sense of purpose and engaging them through sport. So lockdown happens, we can't fulfill what we would normally do, but we have staff available, we have resources available, and John Shields, who's the chief executive and a saint on this earth, that has to be said, of the Man United Foundation. John goes and explores the community and what is out there, and quite honestly, Phillip and Holly, absolutely shocking. And I think the big problem most of us have to overcome, and I heard Emma and Anisha say it there, it's about not being judgmental. We all have views. I mean, and I certainly a year ago, I would have been someone that says, seriously, you can't provide your kid with a bit of toast in the morning or a bowl of cereal? But there are so many factors, so many conditions socially that we've got to deal with here. Homelessness, isolation, social problems that people have that, thank goodness, most of us don't have, but too many people do have, and lockdown has made the whole situation worse. So at Manchester United, we had all these resources. We had staff, we had vehicles, we had food, which couldn't be used within the club, and drinks. And we got out there and we distributed. Now, we also realised that if you're going to feed bodies, you also have got to feed minds as well. And we've got an ongoing project about this, about how to engage these youngsters. This is a bigger problem. This is not just about food poverty, child food poverty, which is disgusting and which is awful and immoral. But this is about a government in England being behind the curve. They're doing something in Northern Ireland, they're doing something in Scotland, they're doing something in Wales. what a PR disaster. And you look at the newspapers today, and there he is, Marcus Rashford, the pride of Britain, and somebody in government at Westminster is really going to have to wise up. I think they actually have realised that not only was this tactically wrong, but this was morally wrong and should be put right. And as you said, Philip, if you're deemed to be in food poverty during term, where does this magical fridge, freezer or money tree come from at Halloween or at Christmas?
All right, Eamonn, thank you.
Thank you
very
Thanks
much
for joining
indeed. The
us.
government say they've expanded eligibility for free school meals to more children than any other in decades. We have provided free school meals when schools were partially closed, increasing welfare support by 9.3 billion, giving councils 63 million for families facing financial difficulties. You know, however, I mean, still that vote did appear to be very cold and really rather cruel. Maybe it will be reversed, and thank goodness for Marcus and what he's doing. We were talking about this morning. You know, from our point of view, each individual. And I think this morning we're going to look at our local schools, our local community, from where our studio is. That may be the way to go, is to actually
Start local.
Start local.
Like Emma.
You start
That's what
local.
she's
Look
doing.
around your local schools. What can you give? What can you provide?